The concept of personality change is complex and controversial. In this final lecture, we are going to explore this concept in a little more detail as it relates to the big 5 personality traits. Is your personality ultimately your fate? Is it your destiny? Can people really change? If you've been a certain way for most of your adult life, can you do something to change the way you have always been? As I mentioned in an earlier lecture, a lot of personality research suggests that the core features of personality become quite stable after about the age of 30. So in other words, they become set. However, before the age of 30, personality traits are believed to be more fluid and appear to be modifiable. Likewise, some traits like agreeableness and conscientiousness often do increase as we age. There have been several research studies conducted in recent years looking at this concept of personality change. In one study by Hudson and Roberts, the researchers looked at the goals people set for attempting to change their personality. In their sample of primarily undergraduate students, so college students, they found that the vast majority of people wanted to change some aspect of their personality. So for example, 87% wanted to increase their extroversion, whereas only 3% of people wanted to actually decrease their extroversion. Similarly, 89% wanted to increase their agreeableness, and 97% said they wanted to be higher on conscientiousness, so the desire is certainly there. These results suggest that people are aware of their personality traits and often do want to change them. Typically, the reason that they want to change is that they're unhappy with aspects of their life. But of course, the real question is, can personality traits actually be changed, especially after the age of 30? Well, a brand new study looked at this concept. So Roberts and colleagues conducted a meta-analysis on studies that looked at whether psychological treatments in particular could change personality. A meta-analysis combines the results of many different studies to provide a more concrete conclusion about how personality can be changed. In this case, over 200 studies were included. Overall, they found that certain types of treatment can actually change big 5 personality traits. In particular, the 2 traits that changed the most were neuroticism, which decreased, and extroversion, which increased. Types of therapy such as psychotherapy or talking with a therapist, as well as medications which are designed to treat things like anxiety and depression, were effective in reducing these problems. And they also modified neuroticism and extroversion as a result. The changes in neuroticism and extroversion actually happened pretty quickly, and they appeared to last over time. So importantly, these personality changes were still seen months later at a follow-up. Interestingly, the other big 5 traits did not change that much at all. This could suggest that those traits in particular are more stable and cannot be modified. But it could also be the case that depression and anxiety were altering personality to begin with, and that therapy actually just returned personality traits back to their normal levels. Okay, so what about changing your personality traits without therapy? So, trying to do it on your own. Well, for starters, there's much less psychology research on this topic. In fact, a recent study by Hudson and Roberts was the first to examine whether people can change big 5 personality traits on their own, if they wanted to. They found that some people may be able to change big 5 traits if they are very highly motivated to begin with. They also have to set concrete goals to do so. For example, the people who wanted to increase their levels of extroversion stated that this was a goal that they had. In other words, they had been thinking about it and put goals in place that were followed by action. When the researchers followed up with these people, they found that those people who stated that they wanted to become more extroverted had consciously behaved in a way that led to higher extroversion. So in other words, they actively tried to do things like smiling more at other people. They attempted to meet more people in social situations, etc. They had acted like they were more extroverted, and sure enough, their trait scores did increase over time. Now, this actually could be a case of something we call fake it till you make it, which is when people choose to act as if they are a certain way, and they eventually do become like that. So, for example, if you start acting more confident in general, if you have a problem with confidence, you act confident, well, guess what? You eventually will become more confident. Overall, these results suggest that in some cases, changing features of our personality may actually be possible.
Thank you.